All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, November 8th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, and I'm joined by Big Marcel, my co-host on Monday and Tuesdays here, as well as my former co-host, Mr. Cole Shelton, the guy who used to be my co-host on, I think we did it, Tuesday and Wednesday, Cole? I can't remember when we used to do it, but glad you guys are here, man. Glad we got the whole team here today. Can't wait to talk about UFC 268. I thought it was probably the best card of the year, so I had to get Cole to come on too and talk about the fights. So before we get into it, how's everyone doing? Start with you, Marcel. What's going on with you, man? How's everything?
Yeah, everything is fine, man. How are you guys doing? By the way, Cole Shelton, what's up, dude? Glad to see you in here.
Yeah, how are you, Cole? How's it going, man?
Everything's good, man.
I'm glad you're here, Cole. We haven't had you on in a while, so I thought the card was really good, and I wanted to get your thoughts on some of the fights because there was some pretty crazy fights and a lot of stuff that happened. And you got CM Hawks in the chat already, and we got Tristan here. Hey guys, glad you guys are here. We're gonna have a good show today. Looking forward to talking about this card with you guys. First off, what do you guys think? You think it was the best card of the year? We'll start with you, Marcel. Overall, do you think it was the best card of the year?
Yeah, recency bias aside, I think it was. I really liked it. I think for, the first three fights were okay. It was kind of a slow start, and after that Barnett spinning wheel kick TKO, it went crazy. There wasn't a bad fight after that, in my opinion. So, it was really good. I was awake till 7:10 a.m., I think. I really enjoyed it from start to finish.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a late night for you, eh? Over there. What about you, Cole? You liked it as well? Obviously, you think it was best card of the year? I'd say it's up there. I have to look back at them, but I think it's up there.
Yeah, just off memory, probably this one, 261 would be up there.
Yep. The first one that came back, yeah. And of course, Rose and Kamaru were on both those cards. Let's just get into it, guys. We're gonna have a lot to talk about today. So let's start with main event, work our way down. So Kamaru Usman defeats Colby Covington in the rematch. Competitive fight, obviously. Judges had a 48-47, 48-47, 49-46 for Usman. A lot of different scorecards out there. I want to get what you guys had it scored as, but I personally had it at 48-46 because I had the first three rounds for Usman, the second round 10-8, and then the last two rounds for Covington. So I thought Usman won the fight. Definitely a close fight, but I thought that Usman at least won 3 rounds. What did you guys think? How did you score, Cole?
I had 48-47 Usman. I think you can make more of an argument Covington won than 4 rounds to 1 for Usman. I think you could go 3-4-5 for Colby pretty easily, but I don't know. I thought Colby won the 4 and 5. Round 2, I was close to getting 10-8, but I'm it was pretty competitive other than the knockdowns. I don't have a problem if you gave it 10-8. I personally did, but I thought it was 3-2 Usman.
What do you think, Marcel? How'd you score it?
Yeah, also 3-2. I think round 2 was very competitive. I saw the knockdowns as well, but still competitive, and I would go with 10-9 as well there. A big 10-9 probably.
Yeah.
So I would be saying 48-47 for Usman.
Yeah, I think that's a fine score. For me, it's you get 2 knockdowns. That's enough for me to sway it to a 10-8 round. I know that in MMA you don't necessarily have to give 10-8 for a knockdown, but I do think when you get 2 of them, got the guy on roller skates and nearly knocked out. I think it was enough for me to score to 10-8, but the judges obviously didn't. Either way, Usman won. I think he deserved to win. I'm glad he won because he deserved the decision. What's next now? I would assume that it's Leon Edwards. Is that what you guys are thinking? If Leon beats Jorge Masvidal, Cole, does that seem like the next guy?
Yeah, you would hope it's Leon. I think it's Leon or Luke. I think would be.
That's the thing. There's still Luke out there in this Kamzat. So you think of the 3, it's probably Leon?
Yeah, if he wins. If he loses, I think you go Luke.
Yeah. What about you, Marcel?
Same as Cole said. If Leon wins, you gotta give it to him, and if he doesn't win, you go with Luke. It's pretty easy actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the comments, and you guys kind of agreed. They both thought that 267 and even 268 were both great cards. They really were. They really, really were. We got Matt with a question here in the chat. Hey, Matt. He says, "How does Colby tag Usman more than Masvidal? If Usman continues to stand with guys, I could see him lose soonish." It's almost like he was really proud, but to stay and trade. But I don't know. Colby's such a great wrestler, right? He's hard to get down to the ground. Usman is. So just the stylistically just turns into a fight where it's on the feet. With Masvidal, he's on his back. He's playing on his back the first fight. In the second fight, he's got clocked, obviously. Tristan thinks they should do Kamayev versus Luke Burns for number 1 contender after Leon. I like Kamzat. He's great, guys, but it's these guys have been Edwards and Luke have been on a win streak for multiple years now. You know what I mean, Marcel? To me, it's those guys kind of deserve it more right now. I don't know. So I think that those guys are a little bit above, but I know that Kamayev, obviously, Dana White loves the guy, so it wouldn't surprise me if he gets fast-tracked. What about Colby, though? What's next for Colby, guys? Cole, what do you think, man?
I think you do Masvidal win or lose. Even if he beats Edwards, it makes more sense. If you lose, I think you do it.
What about you, Marcel? Same fight? That's the fight to make?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. But I also think the Kamzat fight's interesting. You know, I just don't know if why would Colby fight him? It doesn't make sense. But I think Masvidal is a big fight, so I'm kind of with you, Cole. I think your suggestion makes sense. I saw your article, obviously, at DJ Penn today. So yeah, I think it was a good fight. First fight was great. Second fight was great. Anything else you guys want to talk about this, or should we move on to the next bunch of fights here?
I think Colby got the takedown.
Oh, we just got to talk about that. I thought so too, Cole. I'll be honest with you. And I saw what the counter said, the official stat counter. He's like, well, there was no control time. But I've seen lots of takedowns in the UFC where a guy just gets him down for like a brief – like, I'll give you an example. Misha Serkinov and Krzysztof Jotko, they gave Misha 5 takedowns in that third round. If you watch that fight, half those takedowns were like they dump him and then get right back up. Like, you know, there's no control. So to me, it sure seems like they're trying to keep his 100% takedown defense stat like intact, Cole. It sure looked like a takedown, Cole, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it. Both his knees hit the ground. Like he's no longer standing. So what's happening?
What do you think, Marcel? I guess you don't care, but do you think it was a takedown?
It was obviously a takedown. Yeah.
There you go. You got 3 people that watch a lot of MMA that all thought it was a takedown. So I thought so too, but it is what it is. CM Hawk says, fun fact, Kamzat has the same amount of ranked wins than Luka Edwards and more than Colby. Really? That's crazy. Well, I guess it's true, actually. Just because Colby had beaten, Maya's gone and RDA. It's different division and everything. That makes sense. All right, let's go to the co-main event, guys. I want to get your thoughts on this fight. Rose Namajunas defeats Weili Zhang via split decision. Did we all pick Rose to win this fight? I picked her. I know you did, Cole. Marcel, you picked. Okay, so we all were on her. Again, it's just one of those things. All week, I kept messaging Cole. Cole, why is she plus money? Why is she the underdog? Like, it was a close fight, guys, but I just think it was wrong. It was really just morally wrong that this girl who knocked out the other girl with a head kick and who's such an amazing fighter was the underdog. It was a close fight. Honestly, I did have a bet in Rose, and I was fully prepared to lose that bet because I thought it was that close where he could have went either way. Was happy to cash it, Cole. I scored a 48-47 for Rose. Barely, though. Like, because the thing is, those first 3 rounds were so close. I just think Rose got this. I think it was the second one I scored it to. Like, barely, And at that point, it was almost like if you guys got to just forget about the 4th and 5th rounds, right? Because they were obviously for Rose. You just look at the first 3. It was basically like your typical split decision type of fight. It was basically a split decision because all 3 judges had different scorecards for those rounds. So if it was just a regular fight, it would have been a split decision, and Rose would have won it. I think it was a close first 3 rounds, but overall, I think Rose. I don't have a problem with her winning the fight. What would you guys think? How'd you score it, Cole? What'd you have?
Yeah, I had a 3-2 for Rose.
And what were you, Marcel? You had the same score, huh?
Yeah, 3-2, 4 and 5.
Yeah, I had the same as Marcel. So I mean, the second round was close. If you had the first 3 for Weili, I don't think it's a bad score by any means. I think it's a good score, and I think the 48-47 is a good score for Rose. So I think either way, guys, 48-47. The 49-46, I don't agree with. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. It's like almost like that judge kind of stopped watching the round and just gave it to the champion. I'm not sure if you can really give Rose 2 of the first 3 rounds. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but I definitely can give one of them to her, so I have no problem with that. Now, let's talk about what's next for these girls. For Rose, I mean, all accounts and purposes, it should be Carlos Esparza, right? I don't know, though, because now Dana White's saying he's got another option, and he basically said, I'm sure you saw Cole, but in the post-fight, he was like, well, we told her to keep fighting and take a fight, and she chose to sit in the sidelines, and now we got someone else. I'm guessing it's Marina Rodriguez, right, in versus Rose. Is that what you guys are thinking? They're going to do that fight instead? Is that what you're thinking, Cole?
I mean, it should be Carla, but I think it's funny where he says you can't wait around when Colby fought one time. And
what about Glover Teixeira waited 13 months to get his title shot? He only says that when it works for like what they're trying to promote. And right now, they don't want to do the rematch with Carla because I think they think Carla's just going to hold her down for 5 rounds or whatever. And they'd rather see her fight another, like a striker in Marina. But I don't know. I mean, to me, Carla should get that title shot. After smashing Yan like she did, that should have got title shot already. Marcel, what do you think? You think she's going to get passed on again?
Dana White is a blooming idiot for disregarding Carla. Come on, man. I mean, how obvious can it be a number 1 contender? If you like her or not, he was already pissed that she beat Yan Xiaonan, another Chinese prospect for him not winning, they are really afraid indeed that Carla will take down Rose and hold her there for 5 rounds and become new. That's what they are afraid of, you know.
Yeah.
And she deserved the title shot. What else she has to do, you know?
And if you can't
take as many fights until she loses, is that what they want?
If you can't solve the takedowns, you don't deserve to be the champion either. You know what I mean? So to me, like, there's a good chance Carla's the best fighter right now in this division. There's a very good chance, and we probably won't get to find that out. And if they don't do the fight, I would guess they do Carla against Zhang, I guess. Although I think they need to do Zhang and Joanna too. That fight makes a lot of sense, right? It just makes sense. Glenn says buys commentary towards Rose. Rose and Mesquite during the broadcast. That's what's going to happen in these broadcasts. I thought overall, I mean, it was a close fight again. Marcus says he wants to see Rose get the rematch, but doesn't think she will. What are you going to say, Marcel?
Probably because the fights were that good last Saturday, I didn't really bother with the podcast, or with the broadcast.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Normally,
I guess
normally I do.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Marcel. I wasn't as like attentive to it just because overall the fights were amazing. I was kind of like I was really glued into them, but I thought Rogan was pretty good with DC this time. I thought they were okay, better than normal. Anyways, where was Zhang though? Obviously close fight, she lost. But this is the problem, right, Cole? We talked about it. She lost 2 times now to the champ. Now what? What do you do with her next?
Maybe she goes to flyweight. She can.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she said she didn't want to fight Yan Zhao, and if you look at the rankings, like, do you do Mackenzie Dern? I don't know if the UFC does that.
I don't think they would.
Then next would be Nina Nunes, maybe Claudia Gadelha, maybe Tisha Torres. She already beat Michelle Watterson. Maybe do Michelle Watterson. Like,
you could do that fight. I think she'd be a lot bigger than her. Right?
I don't really know who she fights next.
I think 125 is probably the move to make at this point because it sure seems like she's going to be behind some other girls in this division. I know the UFC loves her; she's a great fighter, but she's probably behind like 3 or 4 other people. What do you think, Marcel? You think she just stay in this division and just kind of see how things go, or you think she should maybe switch to 125?
It's difficult, man. I mean, I don't see her getting a 3rd shot at the title anytime soon.
Yeah. So
maybe it's a good idea to switch to flyweight. But on the other hand, she will probably, with 1 win there, she will fight Shevchenko. After, because they also need girls over there. But I don't see her winning against Shevchenko, to be really honest, man. So I don't know, But we'll see. I would like Weili rematch against Joanna. I think that's a great fight. So why not? You can do. They won't do it, but they can do Rose against Carla, and Weili against Joanna, or Weili against Marina Rodriguez on the same card. Have a backup there. I mean,
they could. I'm with you guys. If she stays in this division, I'd like to see that rematch with Joanna. But for everything we've heard about Joanna, she wants to eat her cake. I don't know if she wants to fight a non-title fight. That's the thing. But like. You know what? Joanna's in an even worse spot than Weili is because not only did she lose to Rose twice, guys, you saw both the fights. She got knocked out and then she got dominated for 5 rounds. I'm pretty sure. Can't remember the second one or the second fight. But I mean, she lost twice to her, so she's in a bad spot. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Crazy fights, man. This was another one, Marcel and Cole. This was one of the harder fights to pick, I think, on the card. And it was competitive in that first 10 minutes, but. Vera really started to turn on, I think, in this halfway through the second round. Once he got up off the ground, he really started to turn it around. And that 3rd round looked like he was going to go to the decision and then just unloads a front kick on Frankie's face. And I know you guys have seen the photos now. You sent it to me, Cole, the punch face, or the kick face, I should say. I mean, the guy looked like he's about 150 years old in the picture. It was pretty crazy. Give your thoughts on this fight, guys. I thought it was an amazing knockout. I love front kicks. They're one of my favorite techniques in MMA. Ever since Anderson Silva did it against Fedor, I've always loved it, and this was another amazing front kick. So give me your thoughts on the fights, guys. Start with you, Cole.
I thought Frankie was looking good. I thought he was winning the fight until he wasn't. Like, that's the thing with Marlon Vera. Like, I saw today he was saying he wants to fight Merab. Merab just takes him down at will and holds him there. Like, his takedown defense is not very good. Like, he won't go very far. Like, even if he fought like a Dillashaw would wrestle him. Like, Sterling would wrestle him. Like, I don't really know how far he goes in this division, especially like I know he knocked out Edgar, but he doesn't really have that one shot like knockout. Like, I think that's more Edgar's chin is going. Like, you look at Vera's like how he wins. It's normally he just like beats you down. Eventually, you just kind of give out. Like, he's not knock you out cold. So like he doesn't even have that where maybe he gets up and he can land one big shot against one of these wrestlers. But I picked Edgar. I'm not surprised Vera won. I thought the knockout was always there, but the way Edgar fought the first 2 rounds is kind of how I thought he'd be able to do the whole fight.
This is actually his first 2 knockout in the UFC. I'm looking at his record, Cole. Like, all his other wins are by TKO. This is his first legitimate knockout. So, I mean, it does say something about the kick. I think it was a perfect kick, but also Frankie's chin. Marcel, give me your thoughts on the fight. Vera and also Frankie. You think Frankie maybe that could be the end of his bantamweight run, at least, I would say? What do you think?
Man, that first of all, the picture from Frankie with the kick on, that kind of, he looked like a guy from Deliverance. I don't know if you guys know the movie.
I've seen the movie,
yeah. I mean, yeah, what can you say, man? Frankie could be on a 5-fight losing skid right now, because the Munoz fight, he didn't win, in my opinion. And he got, knocked out in 3 of those 5, I think. And he did look pretty well in this fight, And I thought it was 1-1 going into the third, although I thought one judge had a 2-0 for Frankie, 2018. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, Frankie didn't get knocked out like this that often, like years ago, This is a fight that Frankie would have won 5 years ago, for example, the prime Frankie, or the Frankie was still in I don't want to say he's in bad shape, but not as old as how he is now, So I don't know, man. I hate to say it, because I don't think anybody should talk for a fighter, but I kind of agree with Derek Brunson, man, that Frankie has nothing left to prove. Dude was a champion at lightweight, was a top contender at featherweight, was a top contender at bantamweight, in my opinion as well. So he should be in the UFC Hall of Fame, and I actually hope he calls it a day, man, because I don't want to see him get knocked out like this. And I think Marlon Vera is a great fighter, but Frankie Edgar in his prime would never lose to Marlon Vera. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, Matt say Edgar looked as good as going to look, and still took more brain trauma. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. He did. I thought he looked good in the fight. Like, he was fighting a smart fight. One of the judges had it 2018. I don't agree with that. I thought it was 1-1, but it was a close fight. The third round was obviously close too, and Tristan cashed out on the third round hedge when Vera by TKO in the third. Yeah, it's a good pick. Glenn's talking about Juan and Vittori's salary. See, the Vittori salary, I don't think that's the right number because they don't release those salaries anymore, Glenn. So there's some website out there that uses fake salaries, I want to almost say. It's basically, Cole, it's basically fake news. I mean, Cole sends me the link, or Marcel does sometimes. Like, look at this BS article with this. I don't think that's accurate, Glenn. But, Vittori's a great fighter, so he deserves to get paid something. But so does Joanna. All right, let's go to the next fight. Shane Burgess defeats Billy Quarantillo. I mean, this was the one underdog I picked on the main card, got it wrong, but it was a close fight. Super close. Closer than a lot of people thought. I don't think a lot of people knew how good Billy is, and I think he proved in this fight he is like a borderline top 15 guy, but he did lose the decision. Burgos won. I'm just worried about Burgos still, Cole, after this fight. He took so much damage again, and this guy is a lot of fun to watch, but I just feel like his fighting style just does not really lay itself to a long career in the sport. So I'm going to be looking to fade him again in his next fight. I'll be telling you guys right now. I don't know who's going to fight, but if he fights someone with power, I'd be looking to fade Burgos because he's getting boxed up good in this fight, man. And just luckily, he had those low kicks, those calf kicks that really did damage to Quarantillo and basically won the fight. What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts, Cole. It was a great fight. It could have been fight of the night. It was amazing. What did you think, Cole?
Yeah, it was hard to live after the fight before. It was I had some of my friends over here, and it's just this is such a good fight that we'd be way more into if Gaethje Chandler just didn't happen 5 minutes ago. And Burgos looked the first round he's a bit slow. I thought Quarantillo kind of slowed down more than I thought, which is kind of surprising because he's kind of known for his cardio and kind of breaking people. But I honestly don't really know where Burgos goes here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fighting another unranked guy, and I don't really know how far he can go in the division, and especially he just takes so much damage, and I don't know how his chin's gonna fare when a big power puncher fights him next.
I want to see what the striking defense is, because coming into this fight, he's eating more than I think six strikes a minute. Now it went off, Cole. He's eating 6.69 a minute, and that's through 10 UFC fights. He also dishes out 7.95. So again, the volume's there, but he gets hit back so much. And then Billy, his stats aren't very good either. Hey, Cole, 7.74 he's landing, which is crazy, but he's also getting hit 5.8 strikes per minute. So both these guys are warriors. I love watching them fight, but again, it doesn't lead to a long career in the sport. It really doesn't. Matt says Burger's a nice top 15 gatekeeper. Yeah, I agree. I think that maybe someone like Puerto or something like that, or Evlov, maybe the winner of that fight could get him. Burgos and Murphy. I guess they could do that fight. I mean, Murphy had that big knockout. They could. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Can't wait to talk about this one with you guys. I mean, this fight,
You're not gonna ask me, dude. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry, Marcel. I apologize, man. I thought I asked you. I apologize.
Should I go away? You know?
No, I don't want you to go away. Give me your thoughts on the fight first, and then we'll talk.
I mean, good fight. You know, I was kind of. I don't get the thing with fans like, oh, I'm so cheering for this fight, and now I'm too down to cheer for this fight. You know, I don't get that. It was a great fight. You know, I think Burgess won 2 and 3. First round was Billy Q's, but Billy Q also got knocked down, I think, 15 seconds before the end of the first round. I didn't call that really 100%, so I don't know for sure, but I think he did.
It wasn't a knockdown. It was like a leg sweep kind of thing. They didn't count as a knockdown.
Okay, okay, yeah, I wasn't. That's why I say I wasn't sure.
I wasn't sure either. I was watching and I heard the commentator say knockdown. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I did have a bet on Billy Q, but obviously he lost the fight. I'm fine with that. But yeah.
So I give Billy Q the first round. I think it was a good fight. I mean, Shane, how do you say that? Defended the spot in the rankings.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, what else? I would like to see him fight Sodiq Yusuff, but
that'd be a good fight too. That'd be a fun fight. You know what's crazy? It says he defended 14 takedowns. I don't remember that many attempts from Billy Quarantillo in the fight. I gotta be honest with you guys. I just remember being just standing and trading. All right, let's go to the next fight, guys. And Matt says the crowd wasn't great. They were good at times, like during the Barnett fight or during the Gaethje fight, which we'll talk about now. But overall, kind of like a downtrodden crowd. Now let's talk about Gaethje and Chandler, guys. I mean, for my money, and I've said this for years, you can actually, if you go on Twitter and type in my name and type in Gaethje, I've been tweeting about this guy as a champion, as like my favorite fighter for like 7 years now, since 2014 when I saw him in WSOF. I fucking love this guy, and I still stand by it. He's the most exciting fighter in the sport. You know what I mean? I fucking love the guy. He's awesome. And personally, guys, like I think that this fight was maybe, could have been fight of the year. Maybe like it's up there. Give me your thoughts, guys. I think the score is good too, 29-28. Personally, that's what I had. Chandler, Gaethje. But yeah, amazing fight. Give me your thoughts, guys. Go ahead, Cole. You can start, man.
I mean, I was someone that thought Gaethje was going to knock out Chandler. I didn't think Chandler's chin would be able to hold up. And then the first round, I'm like, geez, maybe Chandler's going to knock out Gaethje. Gaethje did not look very good in the first round. I thought like he was getting hit so much and like, I don't know. It just, and then when he went to the corner, like something just clicked and that uppercut was kind of always landing and then he finally dropped him. The third round, like I'm surprised Chandler even got through that. Like I thought he was done. I saw some people like mad that he was like doing all those like kicks and just kind of like putting his hands up in the air saying like, but like, I thought that was a good fight. They just added to it. Like to me, it's maybe recency bias, but I think that's probably right near the top of the best fights ever. Like especially for a 3-round fight, like those two didn't really take a step back. I'm just still shocked it went the distance.
Yeah, I can't believe what the distance. I'll say this. Like I think because it was 3 rounds and not 5, they just decided to let it all go loose for the 3 rounds. If it was a 5-round fight, they might have been more like conserving their energy for the, like maybe not Gaethje, but I think Chandler might have. Man, this fight was good. Come on, Marcel, talk about this fight because it was just amazing. Give me your thoughts, Marcel.
Yeah, it was a good fight, man. I mean, was from start to finish, was action. Both guys tried to take each other's head off. So yeah, I mean, what else can you ask for? It was pretty much as we all expected. I think I gotta be honest. I think. I expected Gaethje to knock out Chandler at a certain moment. I also think I picked him first round KO. But yeah, Chandler's chin held up very well, and it went to a decision. But I think Gaethje won 2 of the 3 rounds. So yeah, it was a good fight, man.
Yeah, Chandler first round, those low kicks were nasty, and he did some damage. Second round, Gaethje knocked him down, did damage. Third round, Gaethje. So great fight. Gaethje won. They won fight of the night. They deserved it. Get these comments. Tristan says, if Gaethje fight didn't go the distance, I would have had a huge night. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people didn't think that was going to go a distance, man. Chandler's career has been going to look rough, but it's been a blast. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I almost feel like Michael's stock went up despite losing. Like it's kind of weird. Like I feel like I like him even more now than I used to. It's crazy, right? Just the fact he was so durable. Because I gotta be honest, guys. Like we've seen him get KO'd, and I thought that might happen again. When he got dropped in the second round, I thought it was over. Cool, but he sprawled for that. He went for that takedown. Gaethje sprawled. He could have. I think Gaethje could have got that anaconda choke if he attempted it, but didn't even bother attempting it. They just stood up and traded some more. Alex is in the chat. Hey, Alex, what's up? Marcus, Chandler's fight IQ during the last 2 minutes. Round 3 was horrible. Walking towards Gaethje, he was just exhausted. He could have won the fight though. You're right. It was that close where it came down to the last couple minutes. It was super close, but again, the scorecards were correct. Great fight. All right, let's go to the prelims here. Alex Pereira defeats Andreas Michailidis via second round flying knee knockout. First round was a struggle, though, guys. I mean, he got taken down. He got held down by a guy who's not very good. And then landed that flying knee 18 seconds in. I like the guy, but at age 34, Marcel, with the grappling issues I saw here, I just don't know, like, how far he can go. Like, I feel like a guy like Andre Muniz, who's, like, top 15 at best, is a bad matchup, you know what I mean? And maybe he'll do well at middleweight because there's not a lot of, like, really big wrestlers. It's mostly strikers, so he could do well. But I just feel like they got to match him up correctly because you give him another guy with good wrestling like Muniz or something like that, I think he'll struggle. Give me your thoughts, guys. I'll start with you, Marcel.
I mean, if the UFC is really stupid, they match him up with Andre Muniz. Now, Andre Muniz needs an opponent in December.
That's why I mentioned him, because I feel like it makes kind of sense, Like, they're going to fast-track this guy, I think.
Would it be smart? Muniz is really good on the ground, in my opinion. So, I mean, if Muniz gets him down, he won't get up. That's what I think, Pereira, you guys, I mean, Michailidis was, I don't want to talk shit about the dude, but he's probably one of the most unimpressive middleweights in the UFC. He's 1-on-1, lost his first fight against Modestas Bukauskas, and won a second fight against KB Bula, which was a horrible fight, and he won that fight. And it was a lot of standing, and now he tried to take him down, and he basically could control him. Wasn't really that good, but he didn't really got him down. But, I mean, I didn't really feel. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Pereira!" And Joe Rogan, man, I think he just in his pants for 5 minutes. I don't know what's up with that. But Pereira is an amazing guy. Don't get me wrong; he's a high-level striker, one of the poster boys of glory. He was double champ over there. I know he lost his title in his last fight, but he was amazing there. You know what I mean? But I still have to see more of him in the UFC before I say, like, it's amazing, But definitely, if you win your debut with a flying knee knockout, I mean, not many people will say it wasn't good, you know what I mean? But still, I have to look at the complete package, in my opinion. So I have to see more before I can say, like, this guy can go places in the UFC.
I agree. Cole, give me your thoughts on Pereira and just the fight itself.
I mean, Michailidis was, I don't even think he could go a minute into that second round. He was so gassed, and like he didn't really do anything. He just held him there. It's not like he was like constantly wrestling or punching. He just kind of held him there. And I think they fast track him. I think you even give him like Uriah Hall that's just going to strike with him and get him right into the top 10 if he wins. He's old for middleweight. Like, he's already old. I think the UFC is going to try to get him like 2 fights and get him right to the title shot. And they're not going to get many wrestlers. I think it's going to be strikers.
That's what I'm saying. He's 34. He's older than all three of us. Like, and me and Marcel in our 30s, Cole, like, he's not a young guy, but, even though he doesn't have the 5 fights, he's got to get going here because, again, when you're that watching your career at middleweight, he's going to start going. But I'm with you. I think Call would be a good fight. Probably a winnable fight, to be honest with you. But, again, I'm just worried if he fights a good grappler like Muniz. All right, let's go to the next fight. I think this surprised a lot of people. I'm not surprised Bobby Green won. I picked him. I know I did, but I think you did, Marcel. Cole, you and I, Quinta. I thought this fight was going to go the distance and be really close on the scorecards. It wasn't like that. It was a quick knockout. Bobby Green gets the first round knockout. His first knockout in 7 years to the day, apparently, since the James Krause kick to the groin or stomach, whatever you want to call it. Bobby Green needed this win. It's a huge win for this guy. And I think it kind of gets him a top 15 opponent, Marcel. What do you think, man? I thought it was a great performance.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance. Unfortunately, we can't really count this fight on his win streak because on his win record because he didn't do the spray after his win. So I was really disappointed with that. But no, serious note, yeah, he looked great. El Iaquinta didn't look good at all. 2 years didn't fought for 2 years, I think. But yeah, we know Bobby Green. Bobby Green always comes to fight. He has a great cardio as well. Comes forward. And I didn't expect him to stop Iaquinta, to be honest, man. I think it was his last stoppage win since Fight for the Troops 3 or something for Bobby Green, and that's been years ago. So, and I even think Iaquinta was never stopped with punches either. So
yeah, it was the first time he's been knocked out. That's crazy.
Yeah, right? So it wasn't an expected win like this, but yeah, well done by Bobby Green. What else can I say?
What do you think, Cole? Because I thought Bobby's boxing looked outstanding, but Iaquinta's just keeping his chin in the air, walking forward, his chin with his hands down his chin up. What do you think, Cole, on both sides, Green and Iaquinta?
Oh, Iaquinta looked terrible. I picked Iaquinta because Bobby Green loses close decisions. You're in New York. I thought they were going to be a little home cooking for Al to get I'm like, this fight's going the distance. I think it's going to be close. They're going to give this thing to Al. So I'm like, I'll pick Al. I can't believe this. Like, Al looked terrible. Like, it's like you never even knew how to like defend strikes at all. Like, he looked like someone that literally didn't even really know how to fighting Bobby Green, and he made Bobby Green look like this like just a knockout artist the way he was fighting. I'm like, I think this is it for Al. Like, Al has to hang him up now.
He's lost 4 or 5. He lost to 5. 4 of the 5 guys were top fighters when he fought them. But now he's lost 3 straight, and he's getting dropped too. It's fighting against Hooker, he got dropped in 2, Cole. So maybe the sign was there that his chin was going a little bit, but it was just hard to see him getting finished like this. But for Green, I do think this is the kind of win he needed to get like a top 15 opponent. So I think it's a good win for him, man. And again, he's coming off a close loss to Fiziev in a fight that I feel like the UFC almost thought he may have won that. Not won it, but enough to like push him in the rankings a little bit more. Let me get these comments. Glenn says, real lack of form came out of the law gym recently, including Lucky Elja. Well, Merab's there, right? Merab is doing really well, but I think the other guys are struggling. Iaquinta and Miller. Jim Miller? Is that Jim Miller? They could do that fight. Jim's coming off a nice knockout, too. It'd be interesting. Imagine Jim knocked out Iaquinta. All right, so this fight, I'm going to start with you, Marcel, because you've been, like me, a fan of this guy for a long time. Chris Curtis knocks out Phil Hawes, and this fight really changed the whole DraftKings, Cole, on the weekend, because Cole, there was only the one upset with technically this was the only upset actually. So if you had him, you could fit in those expensive guys and you probably won good money. I didn't think Chris Curtis was going to win this fight. I thought Phil Hawes would take him down in wrestling. He didn't. He chose to stay and trade, and he looked great for that first 2 minutes and then just got caught with a huge punch it's 4 minutes, excuse me, but gets caught with that huge, I think it was a left hook, I want to say, and just got rocked, and then his body gave out. It was so weird, and the referee stopped the fight. I'll start with you, Marcel. Give me your thoughts on what happened here, because it was kind of a weird ending to the fight. Hawes was controlling and then just gets dropped. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, Hawes did look pretty well in the first round. He was winning. Curtis could let anything go, and out of nowhere he hits him, and the whole fight changes, and it was over like 5-6 seconds after.
Yeah, crazy.
So, I mean. It's a good win as well for Curtis, since Hawes was like 3-0 in the UFC and on a 7-fight win streak, I think. So, I mean, it's pretty much like how do you say that? Like the other 2 debuts on this card, or who won. They also had like a bad start, pretty much, and they turned it around. And I mean, good for Curtis, man. Very happy for him. I think he should have been signed 3 years ago.
Yep.
But he's now in the UFC. Let's see what he can do. And you said he will go back to welterweight. I think it's the right choice to make, probably, man.
I think so too. And this was, again, when they talk about puncher's chance, this is the definition of it, guys. He was getting tooled and then lucky. I wouldn't say lucky punch. The guy's a skilled boxer, but he landed a punch and changed the fight. So I'm not saying it was a lucky punch, but that's the puncher's chance, because he was losing and he was a plus 300 underdog. Cole, give me your thoughts on this. I'm still kind of just amazed that Chris Curtis won this fight. What do you think, Cole?
Yeah, he was getting like destroyed. Like, I thought, like, if I went to the bathroom and someone said, "Oh, the fight ended in the first round," I'm like, "Oh, Hawes knocked him out." Then like it was Curtis had absolutely nothing those first 2-3 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't get why Phil Hawes doesn't wrestle though. Like, he grew up a wrestler. Like, Chris Curtis is a guy that's not a good wrestler. Like, this is the fight you could just wrestle, make it boring, and just grind out a decision win. Like, even when he got hurt to the body, like, why do he keep standing? Like, at least try to shoot for something. Like,
that was weird.
I don't really know what to make of Phil Hawes. Like, he's been a guy that's been hyped up for so long, but he just gets chin checked so many times now. Like, I don't really know how far you go, because like, if you're losing to Chris Curtis, like, no offense to Chris Curtis, who's like a really good fighter, but at this stage of his career, like, he's nowhere near a top 30 middleweight in the UFC.
That's crazy. It was just crazy, man. The sport's awesome. For stuff like this to happen is awesome. Do you think Marcus? Sorry, the last fight. I forgot this one, Marcus. Do you think Raging Al will fight again? Maybe. Is his contract over? Does he have any fights left, Cole? Maybe he just wants to leave and go to Bellator or something. I don't know. Matt or PFL. Matt says, "How can you ever bet on Hawes again?" I can't. I don't think I could. His chin looks really sketchy, man. Hawes' chin got stung as Imavov Daukaus and finally got cracked by Curtis. Yep, it's crazy. All right, let's talk about the next fight here. Speaking of the devil, Imavov defeats Shabazian via second round TKO. Yeah, I really like Imavov, guys. I bet on him all 3 of the fights this year he's been in the UFC, and he won 2 of them. Lost the Hawes fight, close fight, but he beat Edmund, he beat Heinisch, and I think this guy now he's a top 15 fighter because he beat Edmund. This guy's kind of a dark horse at middleweight. He's just a really well-rounded guy, and he's kind of like he's one of these guys who's just good at his meat and potatoes, and it's not flashy, but man, he gets the job done. And this was a nasty stoppage. The crucifix position and the elbows just raining down. Edmund loses again by TKO. Cole, give me your thoughts on this fight, because I know you were pretty shocked seeing Edmund lose by knockout once again.
Yeah, I don't even know what to make of Edmund. Like, I don't get how you can go from knocking out Brad Tavares, who's like as durable as they come, to lose it like 3 straight. And even like, I think the fall though is on the UFC. Like, I get the Brunson fight made sense. Like, that was kind of the obvious next step. It's what the exact do with Adesanya. He beat Tavares and he gets Derek Brunson. But after like just kind of getting exposed by Brunson, why would you give him another wrestler in Hermanson? The same thing happens, and then they give him like probably Imavov. I think could be even maybe better than Hermanson, like in terms of like all around skill. Like, I think he's a better striker than Hermanson. I don't understand what they're doing with him. Like, he's 23. Like, I think after even the Brunson fight, they should have just gave him someone outside the rankings, go knock this guy out and get some confidence back again.
Yeah. What about you, Marcel? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man. The thing with Edmund is like, I mean, his cardio, he got 1 round cardio, man. That's the thing with Edmund. That was a problem in many of his fights. But I kind of feel like that Imavov is further in his career somewhere, I think he's more developed at this moment, and I think he did very well, Many people are hesitant on Imavov because he lost that fight to Phil Hawes, but I think he's a great fighter. Got a good.
He's better than Phil Hawes. I would pick him in a rematch too. I honestly would. I'm sure you guys would too, eh? Cole, you pick him in a rematch, eh? Imavov?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's very good, So I wasn't surprised that he won, but yeah, I'm looking forward, man, to what he has to offer to the top of the division, because he will definitely be ranked after tomorrow. Oh. So yeah, let's see what happens, man. I think it was a great performance. I kind of feel like it was maybe you guys disagree with me, but this was a crucifix position. Shabazian wasn't coming out. Peterson could have stopped that 5 seconds earlier.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it could have been stopped a few seconds earlier. I'll get these comments as well. CM Hawk says Imavov for Saul. I think that's a good fight. Thoughts on Brendan Allen? I didn't see what did Brendan say? Did you guys see that? I didn't see what he said. Didn't see it. Matt says, does the UFC hate Shabazian? No, it's not that at all. He's ranked 11 in the world. You have to fight guys. Whoever the UFC gives you. If you're ranked, you have to take fights. I mean, that's how it goes, and you're gonna have to take tough fights. And again, his last 2 opponents were top, 5 guys basically. Lost. Now he gets a step down and still lost. So, I would hope for him to. Sorry, just quickly. I hope they give him someone like Michaelides who you can style on, just to get some confidence back. Would you guys? Anything, Marcel?
Yeah, Brandon Allen said with tagging Edmund in it. Okay, I get it now. It makes sense why you don't accept the fight with me. I don't blame you anymore. LOL.
Well, there you go. All right, let's go to the early prelims. I should say. Ian Gary defeats Jordan Williams via knockout. Williams, again, he looked pretty good, man. The first couple of minutes, his boxing looked good, but again, that chin is just not good, especially at 170. Gets dropped. He's been finished by strikes 3 times, but again, the last fight he got choked out. He got dropped before that. So really could be 4 knockouts in this guy's record. He's only had like 15 fights. So really chinny guy, it looks like. Ian Gary caught him with a great punch. Cole, give me your thoughts on this one. I know that you're a big fan of Gary, so what do you think of the knockout?
I mean, I don't think he looked very good up until then, but like, even the way he was losing, I would still thought he was going to knock out Jordan Williams. Like, that entire fight, I'm like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when he get that punch on Williams. Like, I don't know why Williams, because the thing is, he's only been a Factory X for 2 fights. Like, Mark Montoya and Factory X were telling me he has to go down to welterweight. I don't know why they think that. Like, he's diabetic. Like, the weight is already tough on him, and then his chin's just not there. Like, fight a middleweight, even if you weigh in at 183. Like, at least you can take a shot better than what you can at welterweight, where it seems like the first clean shot either drops him or knocks him out. I'm
100% with you. Any thoughts on this one, Marcel?
Yeah, good comeback win for Ian Gary. But I gotta really say this. I mean, the dude acted like he was like the next big thing. And I was like, dude, I saw you in Cage Warriors. You're a great fighter, a great prospect. but don't go too crazy now. You know, you fought one fight, you were losing that fight, and you landed one good punch, which was a perfect punch, you know, and you stopped him. You know, good for you, but he was acting like he gave the world best performance out of there and went kind of crazy to me, and I really don't feel that, man. You know, I mean, it's I feel like it's kind of a European thing with some guys, you know, where they're like trying to be very brash and not humble. Be a little bit more humble, dude. You know what I mean? You will get much more more difficult challenges in the UFC coming now. Jordan Williams, not known for the best chin, to be really honest, and yeah. I mean, he didn't look great in that fight, but he got the win, so good for him. But I want to see him against a better fighter than Jordan Williams. So,
yeah, I gotta be honest. Like, I like William or Gary. I mean, he's like good everywhere basically, but the striking defense, guys, I told you that was an issue. It really was an issue in this fight. He does the same thing that Dusko Todorovic does, where he puts his head back. Like, he doesn't. It's not side to side, Cole. It's back. You know, and that's just not a good way to defend. And I feel like someone who's a good boxer with a long reach might be able to connect with this guy. So I think he's good, but he's got to really just, you know, he's got a lot to work on, guys, before I start calling him like a future contender or anything like that. I do think he's good, though. He's a good prospect. Glenn says Prey and Gary both look poor, but got the comeback win. Commentators are calling future world champion. Same with Paddy Pimblett. Cash cow hype. They got the job done, but you're right. All three of those guys faced a lot of adversity in their fights. That's for sure. Matt says slow down on the Gary hype train. He's not sure he's enough of an athlete to get to where he says he can go. He's good, but he's got special power, as we saw too in this fight. But again, the striking defense bothers me, guys. It just bothers me, you know. CM Punk, Gary versus the guy that won who is that? What's his name? Josh Quinlan or something? Is that the guy?
Yeah, Josh Quinlan, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I guess. I mean, I feel like they're gonna give him someone else, but
I think you give him like a Diego Lima, like another guy.
Sure, that's a fight that
you just knock out.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. He's saying Mickey Gall. I mean, you could do that fight. That would be an interesting fight, actually. It would be, because Mickey just beat Jordan, so it makes sense. All right, let's talk about this fight, guys, because for my money, this was the moment of the night. Chris Barnett, Huggy Bear, Beast Boy, knocks out John Vellante with a spinning wheel kick and punches. Absolutely fucking amazing. I mean, you got to love this sport, right? Like, the big fat guy connects on the spinning wheel kick, and just pretty much, you know, the first three fights were not very good. The crowd erupted, and after this, you had 6 straight knockouts. So I feel like Chris Barnett really turned the night around, man. He was kind of the star of the night until like the main card. Unbelievable performance, man. I picked him to win. I didn't have the balls to actually put money on this guy. I kind of wish I did now, but man, what a knockout. Cole, give me your thoughts on Beast Boy getting that knockout, man.
I had so many of my friends that don't even watch MMA text me. They're like, they're like, I just saw this clip on Twitter. What the hell is this? And I'm like, this guy's hilarious. And then I'm like, did you see his celebration? They're like, no. So I had to send him the celebration. He gained so many fans.
Yeah.
Like, just the way, like, he doesn't even mean to be funny. Just the way he kind of talks and like his personality. Like,
yep.
The UFC has to match him up with someone that he could, like, I feel like they're gonna throw him down to someone that they throw him to the wolves kind of thing. They got to give him like a Harry Hunsucker or someone where he can knock out again. And it's just like, just build up. Give him another highlight reel knockout.
I love it, Cole. That's such a good call. We need Harry Hunsucker, Chris Barnett. It was phenomenal. Marcel, give me your thoughts on this fight, because, you know, to be honest with you, Vellante actually looked decent for the first round in a bit, but just gets caught with that spinning wheel kick, man. Give me your thoughts, Marcel.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, he landed that spinning wheel kick. I was like, oh shit! And then those punches like going crazy, and he won.
Yeah,
it was amazing moment. And then the front flip and landing on his ass, you know, amazing. You know, I loved it. And super humble in his post-fight interview. Gave John Vellante all shine. Yeah, amazing, man. I really loved it. I think everybody did.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great story. I'm going to ask you a question, Cole. What was with all the John Vellante steam this week? Because he went from being the underdog to being like, I wouldn't say a big favorite, but he was the favorite at close.
Who is betting John Vellante?
I don't get it. Why would you want to bet on this guy? I'm not saying I'm the best bettor in the world. I'm not, but I knew better than to put money on this dude. Are you kidding me? Cole, ever since stuff with Maurice Green, it was a couple fights ago where he basically quit, like where he was on top position and got submitted. I was like, this guy's got his foot out the door. He announced the week before the fight that he was going to retire, guys. Anytime someone says that, they very rarely win. I'll tell you that right now. I can't think of too many examples of guys who say, I'm going to retire and then win. It's very rare. I just love this performance. I love the post-fight interview. So humble. Man, what a great knockout. So deserving of the 50,000. And I can't wait to watch him fight again. You know, Cole, you broke the fight, the meme fight between the heavyweights Jay Collier and Chase Sherman. I think the winner of that fight faces Chris Barnett next. That's my pick. Or our boy Parker Porter. That'd be a good one too. Actually, I think Porter probably that'd be a tough fight. Porter's got really good cardio. Daniel says, I disagree. Blocky punch to your face, stable defensive technique. No, it's not. Let's go to CM Hawk says Barnett he went to 120,000 plus Instagram followers. Crazy. Good for him, man. He deserved it. Says the fight guy not to pick Barnett to win. Vellante hasn't looked good in a long time, even the fights they won. It's true. He won like a couple like splits, like they were very questionable. Marcus says, who stock do you think Rose topped the most? I guess he's just asking who stock Rose the most. I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I think Barnett definitely, because guy was, had he lost, he probably would have been cut. So I mean, now he goes to being like a fan favorite. I think him. I also think Bobby Green really needed a knockout instead of winning a decision. That was big for him. And I mean, just I guess pretty much anyone in the main card. To be honest with you, that main card was insane. Any thoughts, guys, to answer Marcus's question? Cole?
Yeah, I think Barnett, Chris Curtis too, because like that was kind of the first time a lot of people would have seen him.
Yeah.
Who dropped the most would be like Edmund, Al,
Frankie.
I don't know if Frankie's dropped a lot. I think people kind of
Phil Hawes.
Yeah, Phil Hawes, Edmund, Al would be the three that kind of dropped the most.
Yeah, because I don't think like Weili or even Covington's stock really dropped. You know what I mean? According to like you gotta like again watch how the fights played out. Any thoughts, Marcel, quickly? Who stock rose and dropped the most?
I kind of agree, man. But I also think Billy Q's stock went actually up instead of down with that loss. You know, because it was a great fight. I saw everybody saying like Billy Q's stock actually went up with that fight. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
I agree. All right, last couple of fights here. I mean, we do it as a batch. Dustin Jacoby defeats John Allen, except according to Bloody Elbow, who scored it for John Allen, which I really just don't see how. But you know, Melsick defeats Bruno Souza, which is fine. Honestly, that fight wasn't very good. It wasn't as good as I think a lot of us expected. And then Ode Osborne defeats Vergara via decision, close fight, but he got the job done. Any thoughts on these first three fights? I'll start with you, Marcel, really quickly. Any thoughts on these first three?
Yeah, not really, man. I think Melsick won. I am 3-0. I think many had a 2-1, so I think both were acceptable. I think CJ Vergara lost to Ode Osborne 2-1, so that was also acceptable. And then the Jacoby fight, I think Jacoby won 3-0. So I don't know. Maybe 29-28
I thought too. I'm surprised at how many people thought it was like a competitive fight. I'll be honest with you. Like, I didn't see a competitive fight there. Cole, how'd you score that one?
I agree with Marcel. I had 3-0 Jacoby, 3-0 Melsick.
I was pretty surprised that someone had it for John Allen. I got to be honest with you. And then even the judges, I think 2 of them had a round for him, which I was still surprised by. Anything else as far as the Vergara fight? Anything you want to say about that? Osborne's not that good, eh? Like, I'm sorry, guys, but I don't think he's as good as some of us thought going into the UFC. Any thoughts on that quickly, Marcel?
I expected more from Vergara, to be really honest, you know, but he didn't show in the first 2 rounds. And
way too slow of a start. I agree. You know, that third round he poured it on. But where was it the first first 10 minutes, you know?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, anything else on this card, guys? I mean, it was a great card. I personally loved it. It was one of those cards, Cole, where like I'm still thinking about it like a few days later. You know what I mean? Which I love. And it was one of those cards where I had like a lot of like you, Cole, like casual friends message me and stuff. So last thoughts on UFC 268 before we move on, guys. Any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Anything, Cole? I mean, Marcel, you're good? Okay. Let's go to I got one comment here, I believe. Yeah. See, let's get Hawk's questions first. Barnett, Felipe. That fight makes sense too. Hawk, he's saying Boudet versus Bresky, the heavyweights for contenders. Haven't heard anything about them. Matt says, should more vets take late notice paycheck fights? Feels like a smart. I agree, it was a smart move. And also, he came in underweight, so maybe he was training for a fight because you know he's a pretty big like heavyweight. He came in under the weight limit, which surprised me. Melsick seems like a solid prospect. He's good, but I would have liked to see a little bit more. Although Souza's an interesting matchup. Osborne is a gatekeeper. He is. He's 2-2 down the UFC. He wins or loses every other fight. Glenn says Rockhold Strickland would have topped it off. Man, I'm so disappointed we didn't see that. But had that happened, we wouldn't have got to see Barnett or Curtis and Hawes because they needed that spot open on the card before they could move that on there. All right, let's go to we only got 10 minutes left here anyways, guys. Let's talk about Bellator quickly. Bellator 270. These days it's tough for me to catch all the Bellator fighters just because I got a kid now, but I did catch the main event and the co-main event. And I'll say this, Bellator does a better job with the entrance walkouts than the UFC. That's the one thing they do a better job of. I was fucking blown away by the entrance for Peter Queally. Like, everyone's sitting there singing Zombie by the Cranberries, man. Like, are you kidding me? That was amazing. And I would love to see that happen. I understand that MMAOB is not going to happen, but like, if the UFC does go to these smaller venues, I'd love to see like something like that happen. I know the Zombies walked out to that song before, but man, this is a special moment here, obviously. But he gets destroyed a second later, Peter Queally. So Patricky Pitbull gets the knockout after that amazing entrance. Just give me your thoughts on that fight, Cole, and also the entrance.
Yeah, him and Gallagher's entrance were like, Bellator. I think it's fair to say they're way bigger in Europe than they are in North America. I don't think many people in North America really care about them, to be honest. Like, I think they would do a lot better if they just focused on Europe. Like those when they go to England and Ireland, like those shows are massive for them. But I picked Queally to win. I don't know, like it just didn't seem like a title fight. Like those two guys, no offense to them, should have been fighting for a lightweight title. Like Bellator always says, like, oh, we're like the second best promotion, or we're like catch up to the UFC. If Peter Queally, Patricky Pitbull's your lightweight title fight, like I don't really think you have much to say because I don't even think those guys would be like top 10, top 15 in the UFC. Yeah,
I agree. Any thoughts on this one, Marcel?
Yeah, I kind of expected Patricky to win, but not this way, to be honest. I kind of disagree with Cole, man. It's also not really that big in Europe. Maybe in Ireland.
It's pretty big in Ireland. It seems like it's pretty big there.
Yeah, but they are always going crazy for their fighters. You know what I mean? So it's not like over here. Listen, man, we in the Netherlands, we won the Bellator event because we have Musashi, we have Van Steenis, we have Kielholz. We still got Manhoef either as well. But so we want a Bellator event over here. We got Hoy and Boulait now as well. But it's still not as big as the UFC, in my opinion. Also, I don't think it will ever become as big as the UFC, to be really honest. Yeah, they did very well. They really play into the Ireland kind of guys in the Bellator. Made them main event, co-main event. Actually made it a title fight, like Cole said, against Patricky Queally. I mean, what we all saw, also in the co-main event with the mix against Gallagher, that Gallagher has lots of holes in his game, and he made it a competitive fight, but I think Mix is a better fighter, although Gallagher kind of looked better on the feet, but on the ground, Mix just on another level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't get your thoughts on that one, Cole. Like, I thought that, Gallagher's fought a dumb fight, to be honest with you. I mean, he was going for guillotine chokes on a guy who's a master at them and gets guillotined himself, so I thought he just fought a really poor fight. I don't think James Krause was in his corner, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think he had his regular coaching, like the new coaching staff.
No, James was there.
Oh, James was there. Okay, so he just had a bad performance, I guess. Yeah, here's what it is. Patrick Mix is a good fighter. Also, he missed weight, so that's the thing. Like, you miss weight, so like you can't really talk shit when you miss weight. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, you miss weight, just shut up, okay? Because you missed weight. Just kidding. And then I didn't watch the prelims. I know that Pedro Carvalho won. I didn't see that fight. That's kind of a surprise to me, though, I gotta be honest, because I think Michel's really good and that he lost. So Hawk saying it's Camrat Ferrer happening. I mean, Dana White was asked about it last week. I want to say he just said he didn't know. So I don't know either. Gillespie Armin finalized. Haven't heard. Marcel, you heard anything about that? Gillespie Armin? No.
That wasn't supposed to happen in February, but Armin accepted, and Gillespie, they haven't heard about him yet, so I don't know.
All right. Glenn says Dublin special. Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at the gate. It was $2.5 million American. That's pretty good. I mean, the UFC did 9.9 million US. Bellator did 2.5. That's not bad for Bellator for a card like this that, has what, one star fighter on it, like two. Why is Conor the only guy from SPG to be in UFC? He's not. Johnny Walker's also in the UFC, and Patrick Holohan used to be. Makwan Abercrombie, I think,
Gunnar
is there
Nelson's
still.
there.
I think Gunner's retired. Is Gunner retired? I don't
know.
No.
Ashlyn Daly was there.
Ashlyn Daly. Oh man, she wasn't very good. Do you know if Dennis slapped Ali back? Yeah, the story's going around, like that Ali slapped Dylan Dennis. That's pretty funny. Dylan's kind of a guy who talks a lot. He's a keyboard warrior, right? Like he talks smack and doesn't fight. So, last thing we're gonna talk about here, guys, before we get out of here, because we got 5 minutes left. Contender Series, the last episode of the year. Talk about the contracts that they gave out and the ones they didn't. So, just 2 contracts they were giving out. Let's go through the fights really fast. Start with the first fight: Juan Puerto and Shifa Zhang. Absolutely terrible fight to watch. Awful fight. Stupid performance by Puerto, and he was surprised he didn't get signed. Even Dana White was like, "What were you expecting? This is Dana White's Contender Series. You're supposed to put on a fun fight, exciting fight." It was basically 2 guys trading top position. It was an awful fight. Any thoughts on that quickly, Marcel and Cole? Any thoughts?
First 2 rounds, he just coasted in the 3rd round, Puerto, and that we all knew. And if he doesn't know, he don't know the rules, And I don't say you have to finish there in the 3rd round, but at least do something, And he didn't do anything anymore in the 3rd round. So he fought a 10-minute fight.
Cole?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was terrible to watch.
It was awful. And the next fight here, this was also terrible to watch until it wasn't. When Jonas Bilharino, me and Marcel both picked him last week as an underdog, knocked out Cannon Kauai. 3rd round spinning wheel kick, amazing knockout of the year. Doesn't get signed though, so controversial. Now he's come out and he said that he believes Dana White's going to change his mind. He's going to sign him eventually, or give him a shot in Contender Series or LFA, and then get him in the UFC eventually. I feel like cooler heads will prevail, but I don't blame Dana for passing on because man, it was such a shit fight until that knockout. So I literally had a tweet written up, Cole, saying this is the worst fight of the year. Dana White's good. I can't wait to hear what he says about these guys, and then he lands the knockout. I had to delete the tweet, so I didn't tweet it out, but. Cole, quickly, any thoughts on this one? And Marcel, both you guys.
Yeah, I said he wasn't going to get signed, and people were like, no, we have to get signed. Look at that knockout. I go, okay, it was a good knockout. The fight was terrible. It might have been worse than the first one, and the first one sucked.
It was so bad. Marcel?
Yeah, it was a bad fight, but thing is, I like Bilharino, man. I think he's a good fighter, but it wasn't just a good showing, and then he knocked him out of nowhere. And I mean, you can't justify not signing him, in my opinion, based on the performance. But yeah, it was. I mean, it kind of sucks, because his knockout was great, but performance sucked. You know what I mean?
Yep. Erickson Freire de Silva defeats Lung Kui. I gotta be honest, I thought that Kui won that fight, but it was super close. I think all 3 of the judges had different scorecards. It was that close. Johan Lenas, let's talk about this guy. Marcel, me and you both picked him as an underdog. Can you believe, Cole, this guy was plus 400? Knocks out Justin Burlinson. You picked him too. How is he plus 400? I mean, I can see why he was the underdog because Burlinson's the younger guy and everything, but the guy's good, and he's, I think, still undefeated, right, with 8-0 with 6 knockouts. Cole, I got to ask you first, man. We finally got someone to cheer for up here because it feels like it's been a while since we've had a good Canadian fighter to cheer for. What do you think of this guy, man?
Yeah, he looks good. I think welterweight's obviously top division, but he's pretty well-rounded with a lot of knockout power.
Yeah.
I think his wrestling, that's something that's kind of a concern. I think he could get kind of exposed, but if he can knock people out, I think he can get. It seems like Dana really liked him. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him a pretty notable name off the hop.
Yeah, I liked him too. What do you think, Marcel?
Yeah, it was fun, man. He did knocked him out, so it was great. It was like we said on when was that on Tuesday? The odds are pretty crazy, He was like a big underdog in the fight, and we both picked him. Just a fun addition, I think, to the UFC, and I really look forward to see Linus. I think he came from CFFC, where he was champion over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a good organization. He was the champion and was a huge underdog. Doesn't really make sense. Mm-hmm. Last fight, Mahashati, biggest upset of the season, plus 500 underdog, defeats the other Canadian, Achilles Estremadura. I mean, Achilles looked good in that first round, but Mahashati, he looked really good in this fight. And this kid's 21 years old. I think he's going to have a good career in the UFC. I really do. Any thoughts, Cole, quickly? On this guy?
The guy has a chin. He got tagged a couple times in the first round.
Yeah, it's good. What do you think, Marcel, this guy? I've never seen him fight before. So
he looked good in the 2nd and 3rd round. Did you saw how quick Dana gave him a contract at 21 years of age? Normally it's like, you're kind of young. We let you go to LFA or to this first, and then we can get you back in 3 years. This dude is Chinese. He's 21 years old. He wins. Get him. That was
they needed to. They wanted him so bad. They were just they were. Literally, they tried all season to get a Chinese fighter to win. The very last fight of the season. Our boy Johnny the Greek, he apparently bet on them to win the decision at plus 1,000. They were talking about that. So Johnny had a winning bet to end the season. And also I gotta give a shout out to our boy Nick, who obviously runs the website here. I thought Nick did a phenomenal job on the broadcast this week. Nick's natural on camera. Anyways, that's it for this podcast, guys. Last questions here, and we'll get out of here. CM Hawk, why is Bellator able to go to England, not UFC? I've been asking myself that. They just, I guess, feel like more comfortable doing it than UFC. Also, a lot of the fighters are from like Europe. Like the UFC, if they did that, they're gonna have to just bring European-based fighters too, which I think they could do. Dana wasn't a good move. No, he wasn't. Those first 2 fights pissed him off. Not often agree with Dana, but despite the finish, he deserves his contract. Kind of agree with you guys. I think if he gets another win though in LFA or something, I thought he'll get on the UFC. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Marcel, plug yourself. Let's get out of here, and then Cole, you can do yours. Go ahead, Marcel.
Marcel24, Twitter, Instagram, MMADNA.nl, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, ColeShell91. Everything's on my Twitter.
There you go. At Madam Martin podcast, MAOddsbreaker.com. Sorry, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all those places. BJPen.com, MyMANews.com. Lead Fantasy, Lead Sports Betting, and Bookies. Peace, guys. Have a good day. We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m.